I found a birth certificate in my parents' attic with my name on it, dated 3 days after I was supposedly born. Now I know why I've never been able to look at myself in mirrors. My whole life, I've had this weird thing where I can't stand my own reflection. Not body dysmorphia or anything like that. I just get this overwhelming sense of wrongness, like I'm looking at someone who's pretending to be me. My parents always said it was normal, that some kids are just sensitive, but they'd get this look whenever I mentioned it, like they were relieved about something. Growing up, our house had tons of mirrors everywhere except my room. When I asked why, Mom said mirrors in bedrooms caused nightmares. Made sense at the time, but I always noticed how she'd watch me when we passed the hallway mirror, studying my reaction like she was waiting for something to happen. The really weird part was bath time. Mom would always stand behind me and wash my hair, but she'd position herself so I couldn't see either of our faces in the bathroom mirror. She'd say things like, "Don't look up, sweetie," or distract me with toys. When I got older and started bathing alone, I realized I'd developed this habit of keeping my eyes closed or looking down the entire time. But there were other things too, like how I was always the healthier twin, even though I don't have a twin. My parents would slip up sometimes and say things like, "You're doing so much better than," and then stop mid-sentence. When I asked what they meant, they'd claim they were thinking of some other kid from the neighborhood. And the photos. Our house was full of pictures of me, but they were all from weird angles. Profile shots, pictures from behind, group photos where my face was partially hidden, never straight-on portraits. When I asked about it, Dad said the camera had some kind of focusing problem that made direct shots blurry. The birth certificate explains everything. I found it wedged behind some old Christmas decorations in the attic. It's got my name, Sarah Michelle Garrett, but the date is 3 days off from my birthday. Not a typo, because everything else matches perfectly. Birth weight, hospital, even my parents' signatures. But this certificate has a stamp I've never seen before. Replacement subject approved. That's when I started digging deeper. I found medical records hidden in a box labeled winter clothes. Pages and pages of documents about something called neural identity transfer protocol. Most of it is medical jargon I don't understand, but some parts are clear enough. References to primary subject termination and secondary subject integration and memory implantation successful. There are photos too. Pictures of 2 identical baby girls in hospital cribs, labeled Subject A and Subject B. One photo shows Subject A with tubes and wires attached to her head. Another shows Subject B, apparently me, lying in the next crib with similar equipment. The final photo in the series shows only one crib occupied. The worst part is the doctor's notes. They talk about how the transfer was more successful than anticipated, and how the secondary subject shows no awareness of the procedure. There's a note about how they had to remove all mirrors from my environment until the neural integration was complete, because reflections might trigger residual memory fragments. At the bottom of the file is a letter from my parents to someone called Dr. Henriksen. It thanks him for giving us our daughter back and promises they'll continue the post-procedure protocols as discussed. The letter is dated exactly 3 days after my supposed birth date. I think I know what happened now. I think I died as a baby, and somehow they put my consciousness into my twin sister's body. That's why mirrors feel wrong, because the face looking back isn't the one I was born with. That's why my parents always seemed like they were watching me, waiting to see if I'd remember something I shouldn't. It's 3 a.m. now, and I'm sitting in my bathroom, forcing myself to stare into the mirror. My reflection stares back, but there's something in her eyes I've never noticed before. Something scared and desperate, like she's trying to tell me something. I just realized she's moving differently than I am. When I raise my left hand, she raises her right. When I tilt my head, she tilts hers the opposite way. That's not how mirrors work. She's mouthing words I can't hear. Help me. Oh God. I think I know who's looking back at me. The doorknob behind me just turned. My parents are standing there in their pajamas, but they don't look surprised to see me here. They look terrified. "Sarah," Mom whispers, "step away from the mirror." But I can't, because now I understand. The girl in the reflection, she's the real Sarah. She's been trapped in there for 18 years, watching me live her life, and I think she's finally strong enough to come back.